Hey guys, anybody there? Hey, 5 people. How you doing this morning? Look at that, straight up 7 o'clock. All right, you guys ready? Let's get started. A couple things. Public service announcement. If you haven't in a while on your next ride, pump up your back tire so it loses pressure every couple days. I have a CompuTrainer which requires calibration, and the last few days I've had to tighten it more, and then I realized probably because my tire pressure was low. So I pumped it up today, and then I tightened it the same amount, and my calibration was really high. Unless you have a CompuTrainer, you don't have to worry about calibration. But the point is still the same. Your tire will lose air over a period of days. So maybe like not every ride, but maybe every other ride or once a week, just check the back tire pressure. Because when you tighten up the resistance to the tire, if it's mushy, you'll have to go further. It might also affect your ride quality. Anyway, it's great to see everybody. I love it when you guys say hi. I think it's also good for other people on the ride, just to see who's on the ride. Christine and I were emailing about how like that adds a level of connection. So, and it definitely does for me, because when I don't know who's on the ride, I'm always wondering. But it's fantastic that we have 6 people. It's growing. The word is getting out. My favorite quote from the movie Singles: "I'm huge in Europe." So that's what I always say, like if I have a low turnout. I'm huge in Europe. All right, enough of that. So I have a very interesting workout for you today. Go ahead and start in, if you're just warming up, I got about 10 minutes in before we started. So if you're just warming up, get in easy gear, and then maybe every minute change it to 1 gear harder, just so you can slowly bring up your warm up. Okay, interesting workout. So 9-minute warm up, then we're gonna do 2 sets of 30 seconds, high cadence. Then we're gonna do a little bit of one-legged drills. And the main set, we're gonna start off with 4 minutes at 80%, which is right at that uncomfortable level. Oh, hey, Marion. I see your message first. So 4 minutes at that uncomfortable level. And then the rest period is always going to be a minute. Okay. So whatever we do, the rest period is a minute. The second one, we're going to raise the intensity, and the duration of the work is going to go to 3 minutes. Okay. So we're going to go from 4 minutes to 3 minutes to 2 minutes to 1 minute to 2 times 45 seconds, 2 times 30 seconds. Okay, so that's how it's going to descend. It's going to ascend in that we're starting at uncomfortable to, or like moderately hard to moderately hard plus, or, you know, a bit above uncomfortable, to getting into the hard range, to the very hard range, 100% of FTP, and then going over FTP, right? So as we go through the workout, the intensity will go up, which will kind of suck, but suck in a good way. But the duration will go down, and that'll be fantastic. So that's why it won't suck so bad, is because we'll only have to hold that. That's why. I had so little resistance in my, this always happens. I had so little resistance in my pedal stroke, and it's because my CompuTrainer wasn't on. So I have to calibrate my CompuTrainer, and then I have to remember to hit play. So that's that. All right. So continue warming up before 35 in. Gonna go another 5 minutes. Start getting into like maybe a couple gears harder so you can bring up your effort, bring up your breathing. For those of you that have cadence, warm-up is definitely a good place to get your cadence up to 90 or higher. Hopefully you have water bottle, fan, and a towel, because you're going to need it today. We're definitely going to sweat. Back again on Wednesday, 7 a.m. For some of you, me, you're probably thinking, 7's early, but there's a few people out there who would like it to be earlier. Somebody even threw out 5 o'clock to me, but that's not going to happen. So hopefully y'all had a good weekend yesterday, and at least in the Seattle area. It turned out to be a lot nicer day than it was forecasted this week. At the end of the week, I think it's 75 or 78 or some crazy thing. Okay, we're 6 minutes in. You should definitely start to feel breathing come up. Let's do a little quick body scan. With all your weights on your handlebars, bring yourself up, bring your belly button to your spine, push your butt into your seat. Have your fingers nice and loose, whether they're here or here. If your shoulders are holding up your ears, go ahead and extend through your spine. Relax your shoulders. Bring this up nice and strong. So every once in a while, it's good to do a little body scan because it's very easy, myself included. It's especially when you're watching yourself on videos, you can see when you collapse. So let's try to ride nice and tall. So this workout is definitely a little, I think, different than I've structured the others, just because there's so many sets. But I'll be curious to see how you like it. I was very, when I wrote it, I was like, that could be tough. Maybe it could be, probably could make it tougher. Of course, the one thing with these is you really are in control of your intensity. So you're really in control of how easy or how hard it feels, really just by the gears you choose. So the main thing I think is just try to think about in the intensities, each time it just steps up one tiny little notch, like maybe a volume knob on an old stereo, just slowly turning the dial. I guess that's a thing that's like no more, right? Like if you're a certain age, you're like, volume knob on a stereo? Why would a stereo? What's a stereo? And why do you need a volume knob? All right, 30 seconds. So we're only doing 2 things with high cadence. So maybe right now, figure out what gear you want to start that in. And then on the second one, I'm going to challenge you to do 1 gear harder and still keep the high cadence. High cadence is like above 95, above 100 is great. On a trainer, I always feel it's a little low for me, but okay, here we go. 30 seconds, ready? Go, high cadence. Do this with really good posture. Four, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, on this next one, switch 1 gear harder before we start. Keep the cadence up again. Quick note, if any of you are joining and haven't been doing a lot of riding, I would recommend maybe keeping all of the intensities on the main set, kind of just right at that uncomfortable level, but not into the very hard level. Okay, we're going in 5. So last one, here we go, 2, 1, go. If you went 1 gear harder, you can definitely feel it's a lot more challenging. You can still do it. It would be really cool too if you were able to compare your speeds on the two. If your cadence is the same, your speed will be higher. If your speed is the same, I'll bet anything, your cadence is slightly lower. Okay, 3, 2, 1, relax. Okay, we're gonna do like 40-ish seconds of one-legged cycling. So again, what I do is I unclip one foot, I stick it behind where the trainer screws in, just to get it out of the way. I would get in the small chain ring, and I would get about in the middle of the gear set. And you may need to switch gears depending if it's too easy or too hard. Ready? So I'm going to start with my left leg in the pedal. Here we go. So if you're finding that dead spot, you can, and it feels too easy, try switching to a harder gear. If you can't pull your leg up, it's probably too hard of a gear. Go 1 gear easier. And sometimes this is a good drill because regardless of the pedal or the gear you're in, it's difficult for you to spin a nice oval. And that's an indication that you just need to do these drills a little more. You're probably feeling in your hip flexor, the top of your hip. All right, go ahead and put both feet in, and let's just spin it out. Okay, now let's unclip the other foot. So in my case, I'm leaving my right foot in. And you may even find that one leg or one foot, one pedal stroke is slightly more economical, better, easier than the other. So an indication that you maybe need to work on that leg a little more. So again, think about sweeping through the bottom of the pedal stroke. All right, both feet in. We're gonna go for a minute. So we'll go like a minute from now. So just because that syncs up my time, which makes me easier to keep track. Sorry, my comfy trainer. When I start over, every minute 9, I have to recalibrate it. Okay, going in 10 seconds, kind of like that uncomfortable, maybe a little bit below uncomfortable range, 80% of FTP if you have power. Here we go, ready? 4 minutes. Be a good time to put on some music if you don't have any. Okay, so breathing, get your cadence up first. And then, depending on how it feels, you can start to go to 1 gear harder. You want to get that breathing to the point where you just are putting out 2 to 3 words. If you have a heart rate monitor, you can pay attention to what your heart rate does, because Should be, it will go up. The tricky part with heart rate is there's a lag time. So when you're doing an interval of a minute, and especially 30 seconds, it never really records how hard you're actually working because it needs that time to catch up. Okay, little self-evaluation. What effort are you in? If it's too hard, back off, switch a gear easier. If it's not hard enough, in my case, one gear harder. If your cadence is low, bring your cadence up to 90, because that'll force you to work harder. Nice job, halfway. You can tell I'm working harder because I don't want to talk as much. I am changing my music. I started off with like slow Dave Matthews. Good for warm up. Not good for pushing hard. All right, we're almost 3 minutes in. Take a moment to think about how this feels, because the next one is 3 minutes, but I want it to be slightly harder, just a tiny bit. Remember, we got to go all the way up the ladder of intensity, so we don't want to just jump to hard, super hard. All right, 30 seconds. All right, easy. Good job. So small chain ring. Let the legs spin. Towel off, get some water. Whew. So the good news is we're only going 3 minutes. "30 seconds. We go in 30. So if your bike has any kind of lap split function, you can hit it, record each segment. Because if you have, say, average speed showing up, you can use that, right? Because on each of these, your average speed should go up. Your power should go up, your heart rate should go up. Okay, ready? Here we go. 3 minutes. So let's get our cadence up. Might mean you need to switch to an easier gear to start with to get your cadence up. And then start switching down your gears to find that level. It's the same thing on the road. If you're riding, and say you're riding with some people and there's a gap and you want to close that gap, first thing you want to do is bring your cadence up. And a lot of times that means going to one gear easier, maybe 2 gears easier, so you can get your cadence up. And then as you start switching gears down to a little bit harder gear, your speed will rocket up because you're keeping that cadence, and you'll close that gap so that you can get back into like a favorable drafting position. All right, so we're a minute in at 3 minutes. If you're not already above last time's intensity, switch to a harder gear or bring your cadence up, or both. So it should be like solidly uncomfortable on the other side of uncomfortable, the harder side. If it was moderately hard, it should be like moderately hard plus. So between moderately hard and hard. And so for my computer, I have everything set to average for the segment. So it's called lap. Like for cadence, I have lap cadence, and I have lap power and lap heart rate. I could have on there lap speed. I probably should. But I can see my lap cadence is 87. So I want to bring it up to 90. If I stay in the same gear and do that, it's going to bring my power and my heart rate up. If I had speed showing, it would be bringing up my average speed. 30 seconds. All right, ready? Minute easy. See how much faster that goes? And now we only got to do 2 minutes. So one of the big challenges you're going to have is going to be hard to keep your cadence up, especially on the shorter ones. And that's okay, but it does give you something to work towards, right? So in this one for 2 minutes, you can work harder and keep your cadence up. Really, that's true for all of them, but we're not yet into a workload that's so hard that it's hard to turn the pedals over. 20 seconds, so I'm halfway through my water bottle, but we're halfway through the workout. All right, we're going in 10. Rest periods feel short, don't they? Okay, 2 minutes. So this is like definitely in between. Here we go. Get your cadence up. So workload is solidly between moderately hard to hard, edging over to hard, just maybe right below hard. This is actually can be a really good Olympic distance effort. But you have to train at this effort to be able to ride in a race at this effort. Challenge yourself with your cadence. So I don't know if you can hear me switching gears, but I just toggled to one gear easier so I could really boost my cadence. And then went back to one gear harder. This is definitely where, if you can see your averages, you know, I can toggle between gears to bring my cadence up. It's a good way to balance the cadence with the intensity. Nice job, you're only 20 seconds. you can probably start to feel like more forceful breathing. That's a good sign. 4 seconds. All right, relax. Easy, small chain ring, low muscular / pedal resistance. Whew, was sweating. All right, next one's a minute. Unless you need to keep it where we were, but for everyone else, you can do that. You can keep it where we were, but for everyone else, it should be solidly hard. Like, requires concentration hard. You want it to end early hard, but not very, very hard because we're saving that, right? Okay, we're going in 10, well, 7, 5. Okay, it's only 1 minute. Ready? Here we go. Go. Get that cadence up. Get into the gear quick as you can. Work to keep your cadence up. This is like above Olympic distance pace for sure. This is like if you're outside riding, probably 5 minutes at this level. So we're only going a minute. Coming up on 10 seconds. All right, recover. Whew. You can, if you want, you keep it in a big chain ring, and then in the back have the 2 gears on the left towards the wheel uncovered. The chain would be in the 3rd from the left, but you can also go to the small chain ring. All right, nice job. Okay, 45 seconds. Minute rest, 45 seconds, minute rest. These are 100% FTP if you have power, which means they're sort of between hard and very hard. Whew. The minute recovery goes by quick. Get it 10 seconds to get a drink. All right, 45 seconds. Going in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Bring your cadence up. Hard gear. This is where maybe your cadence could be lower than 90. If you can keep it at 90, great. But make sure you're in a bigger gear. Really want you to feel that force in the legs, that power. Push your butt into your seat so you have something to push off against. It's sort of like doing strength training. Three, 2, 1, recover. Whew. Nice job. Okay, now we're getting where the recovery is more than the work period. And this is true whatever you're doing, swimming, biking, running. When you're doing like this interval type work at a lower intensity, you need less recovery. When you're doing repeats that are where they're hard, generally speaking, your work to rest ratio is 1 to 1. So minute work, minute rest. Whereas on the lower stuff, it's like 5 to 1, 10 to 1 work to rest. And then when it gets really hard, your work ratio is less and your recovery ratio can be twice. Okay, we're going on 5 seconds. One more 45-second. Really push it. Here we go. Bring your cadence up. Get into a hard gear. If you can have your cadence in the above 80, 85, that's great. If you're at 90, that's great. But you should definitely feel a lot of resistance on the pedals. Your form might even, be harder to keep your form because you're bouncing all over the place. 10 seconds-ish. 2, 1, relax. Whew, there's sweat literally dripping off. Nice job, people. Good news. We only have to do these at 30 seconds. I'm reading a comment. Woo, these are intense, but I love it. Nice work, everyone. Thanks, Menta. Did I give you too much rest now? All right, you guys ready? 30 seconds. That was a trick to get me to get you too much rest, unless I forgot to set my clock. I'll let it go a little bit. We'll go in 10 seconds. We're going 30 seconds, pretty much all out. Okay, you guys ready? Let's get in the big chain ring first. Easy gear. Here we go, 30 seconds. So now you should be shifting through the gears like almost not quite to the very bottom, maybe like 3 or 4 from the outside. It's only 30 seconds, so. Five seconds left. Okay, relax. Whew. Yowzers. So, if we were outside, this would be like sprinting. It's 30 seconds. Like maybe a good example would be you're out riding and you're coming up on a stoplight and you see the little walk sign is a 5, 4, 3, 2, and it starts flashing. And you're like, I can make it through that light. Boom, that's the way I sprint. If you're doing like group riding and you're starting to get gapped, and you know that if you get gapped, you're off the back and gone, sometimes you have to put in an effort like that to get back in the draft, and then you can relax. So sometimes you have to put in these efforts. On a hill, like a short hill, this is a sort of simulation of a short hill. Okay, ready? Get in the big chain ring. Here we go. Get your cadence up. Let's go. Cadence up. Shift through all your gears. Find one that's really hard. Maybe stand up if you have to. Two, one, relax. Okay. Small chain ring with your cadence, your gear like in the middle cogs, even easier towards the wheel side. Oh, there goes headphone number 1. So I always have a backup. Nice job. I'm going to adjust the cool down slightly. We're going to do some spin ups. Nice and easy, but I'll show you what they are. Oh man. All right. Keep going. We're officially starting our 6-minute cool down. was a good workout. Whew. I feel like I barely have enough water left. I used to mention this earlier on, but since we have more people on, anytime you want to extend these workouts, like say you really want to go an hour, you can hop on at 6:50, 6:45 and do 10 minutes warm up. And then when we do warm up, you can do solid aerobic riding, conversational pace. You can stay on after and do 10, 15 minutes aerobic. But I know for, and this could be true for that same person. It's like, if you go hard enough, 40 minutes can be plenty. You don't always have to go an hour. And sometimes when you're just trying to get to work, sometimes it's better to be shorter and intense. I will also say, because we all go through those periods, either when we're traveling or when motivation is really low, but you want to keep your fitness. The best way to do that is with short workouts with high intensity. And you only need to do like a total of 6 minutes of high intensity. So you could do, 30-minute run in the middle, insert 12 times 30 seconds, at 5K pace with 30 seconds recovery, or 6 times a minute at 5K pace with, a minute recovery. So I would keep that work to rest ratio kind of similar. So same thing on the bike or swimming. So keeping your fitness on a little bit amount of time means shorter workouts, more intensity. All right, we're got another 4 minutes. So spin ups. We're going to get in a nice easy gear and then make sure your cadence is, let's start kind of easy, like around in the low 80s. So find a gear where you're spinning at like 80 and you have kind of moderate tension in your legs and your pedal stroke. Not super easy, because we're going to stay in the same gear and we're going to increase our cadence. Okay, so you can kind of see my knees going. Let's see where I'm at. Probably like low 80s. You can do these in warm up too. So yeah, I'm like 81. Okay, so we're just gonna go like maybe a minute. So here we go. So right there at 80. Okay, now just go a little bit faster. So same gear. If it becomes too easy, you can switch to a harder gear as you're learning these. Okay, now bring the cadence up a little more. We don't want to get to the place where we're breathing hard, because we're also in a pretty moderate gear. Okay, let's bring our cadence up a little bit more. So we should be really closing in well above 90. If you have cadence on like at 100 would be great. Right now, let's take it up a little bit more. Now we're above 100 cadence. See if you can keep your body from bouncing. Finish it off with 5 seconds, just really fast cadence. Okay, slowly start to slow back down. So spin ups are just another way of doing high cadence. So instead of just like 30 seconds all out, we can just spin up to a higher cadence. It's like when we do running and we do those accelerations, slowly, like some people call them strides, but we just slowly accelerate through like a 20, 40 second period. Okay, let's do one more. So you can watch my knees, my legs. Okay, so here we go, ready? Kind of in this 80. Bring it up a little bit. So get the legs going a little bit faster. Probably closing in on 85 if you have cadence, moving our way up to 90. So here we are, probably around 90. Let's take it up a little more. Solidly above 90. Let's start closing in on 100. Really work to bring your feet through the bottom of the pedal stroke. Okay, let's finish it off with some really fast. And you'll see how you want to bounce around, try to limit that. Okay, relax. So let the legs come back slowly. Whew. All right. Nice job, everybody. We're going to go like another 30 seconds. Whew. Great work. Hopefully you're nice and sweaty. And now you have the whole day ahead of you with a bike workout under your belt. Let's switch to an easier gear for like 10 seconds if you're not already there. And one more easy gear change. Just let your legs start to slow down. Let's go 15 more seconds. We'll call it good. Thanks, everybody. Love the comments. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you on Wednesday. All right, that's it. I'm done. Great job. That was tough, but fun. All right, have a good day.